All right, guys. So I'm gonna attempt to explain. See if I can keep this under 10 minutes. Tell you guys, in my opinion, how I have changed. Because of course we change. We get older, we change, right? Of course, many people have opinions about how I change. But let me tell you guys my opinions on myself on how I've changed since this whole anointing thing. I'm trying to connect the dots between what actually is going on because what I'm seeing and experiencing on a daily basis is now outside the scope of what I perceive to be human understanding. So since I've went to that level, now everything has changed. I don't see people the same anymore. Okay. Again, I'm trying to put two and two together. And another thing too is, so many people communicate online now that a lot of people actually, there's a guy called, what did he used to call himself? I can't even remember. He was a young guy, 25 years old. I thought he was extremely intelligent. I'm gonna have to talk to you guys about him later on another video. But he was explaining how the whole thing about texting and being behind a computer and stuff is so inhumane. And I've already gotten into enough trouble already by dealing with people online. So now when I come across individuals online, I don't really put a lot of I don't put all my eggs in that basket. Even if I like someone online, even if I see somebody online, I think they'd be a good friend or something like this. Based on my experience, I just don't rock that way. I don't like nothing reaches my heart until I'm actually able to sit down with someone face to face and speak to them. You could throw any name out there on this planet. It won't matter until I actually face to face with it could be a woman I think I like online. It still don't matter until I'm able to see a person face to face because I'm a lot more wiser now about things. I just don't jump at things. I have to, I told you guys I have a hard time finding out what's important in this world. I mean, right now I see a situation where more jails need to be built because, to tell you the truth, guys, I think about the average police officer out here, and I say to myself, I actually got more experience. I feel like I know more about what's going on with people, places, and things more than the average police officer does. Me. But it's no surprise. Just because somebody holds a position does not mean that person is overqualified. I would say overqualified for that position. They could be qualified, but I'm just saying there are job, and I'm not just talking about police. There are job titles out here where I'm actually overqualified for, based on my experience alone. Would I ever be acknowledged for it? Most likely not. Not asking to be acknowledged for it. All I know is that this anointing thing, this whole new situation, and things that are mathematically impossible, that's happening to me hour after hour. Now it's like, okay, obviously I'm thinking, okay, how could I use this to my benefit? But when I say use to my benefit, I'm not talking about money. I'm talking about something that really can do something good for some people for a change. You know what I'm saying? Uh, do I have a problem with having a boss? Well, I got a lot, my ancestors worked extremely hard, and I think it shows in the product that they produced in me. The way I talk and articulate, obviously my ancestors worked very hard to produce someone like myself. And me being anointed, that's a whole nother level. Okay, so obviously I know I'm very special to God, and God proves it to me every single day. So when you talk about me working for someone, okay, I will have to sit down with that person first and realize, because the first thing that comes to my mind is, well, hey, I didn't go through all this just to be calling somebody a boss. It doesn't matter who it is. I didn't go through all this for that. Life is short anyway. You know what I mean? It's not when it comes to the money and the family and the wife and the kids and how all that is. Guys, I didn't look. There are people who got all that right now who are absolutely miserable. Okay, but if I was to have a so-called boss, okay, well, obviously I would want to be working for someone who I feel like has the same aims and goals as I do. And the only way you can realize something like that is if you sit down and talk to a person. You know, an NBA basketball player, I'm pretty sure when they sign a contract, uh, they talk to the commissioner or they talk to somebody face to face. I don't think they, texting over the internet and stuff like this. But that's all I pretty much can say, guys. This anointing is it's a I don't say it's a burden, but it's definitely a heavy crown to carry. So obviously, if I worked for somebody, they would have to understand the heavy crown that I'm carrying and what it needs to be used for, and then we could go from there. That's the best I can describe my situation as to how I changed. Not a lot of things surprise me anymore. I can meet someone famous. Like if you had to talk to me 5 years ago, I would have been like, oh my God, like I met so and so, right? This celebrity, right? Now here we are 5 years later, and I can, if that had to happen to me again, it's not the same anymore. Because of the anointing, I don't think the same. I mean, I got the same playful nature, got the same sexual attraction towards the ladies and all that. I got all that stuff is intact. Thank God. Thank God that didn't change. But it's just far as having a purpose. Okay, so I have a purpose to serve mankind. For peace, for clarity, stuff like that. Yet I'm still battling, waking up every day, having a hard time figuring out what's actually important. So you see, I'm definitely in a crossroads, with the whole thing. Because regardless of what I do, life is short anyway. It's like what is actually important. That's what is going on in my mind. Work. When I think about work, uh, look, I've done so much work, guys. Let me tell y'all, I've had to do so much work in this life. I've done so much work. I've probably worked just as much as somebody who's 65 years old right now. That's how much work I have done. So obviously, I wouldn't want to be burden laden and overstressed with whatever I'm doing. So it just depends, guys. Everything is situational with me right now. I'm not jumping towards anything. I'm not getting excited towards anything because I'm much more wiser now. And it's anointing. Like I said, it's just a very heavy crown to carry. So that's what's changed.